Hello everybody, this is Mickey from the 5 Waiting Looms, and this week's topic is, basically it's a fun week. We're just showing things that we do, hobbies, things that we do to have fun or keep us occupied. For me, I am a musician, a music educator, so I teach music. I've been playing flute since I was 9 years old. So I'm about to be 31. When you watch this, I'll be 31. So, 22 years now that I've been playing. Started flute in 4th grade. Started saxophone in 5th grade. And then a little bit, like 6 months into my 5th grade year, I started clarinet. So I am very much a band nerd, and creating other band nerds with my music education job. So, yeah. So as a musician, you have to be able to play instruments, and flute was my main instrument that I played. My senior year of college, I had to play a senior recital, which is 30 minutes worth of music. Just me and a piano player up on stage. So it wasn't like a big concert with a big orchestra or anything like that. It's just you and a piano player accompaniment. So it is really tough and it's really, really hard. I had to prep for about a year, and then a month before your recital you have to get it approved. And yeah, it's a really, really hard time, and it's you introducing yourself as a professional musician. And since I don't think a lot of people would be interested in watching me play for 5 to 10 minutes, play a piece, I decided I'm not going to do that, and I will just post a link either below in the description, or I'll try to link it somewhere on the screen. My favorite piece that I played for my recital was, I believe it was called Sonatina by Burton, and it was a beautiful, beautiful piece. It's a duo for flute and piano, so it's like she wasn't only backing me up, like her part was crazy and very challenging, and it was a 3-parter. So my favorite part of it is the last movement of it, and it was the very last movement of my whole recital. And I'm very proud of the job that I did, but I knew that I could have done a lot better. There are mistakes, which it's bound to happen, we're human. So, but it's just one of my favorite pieces that I played during my recital, so I hope you enjoy that, if you do go watch it. Okay, the other thing that I do, just as a hobby, is I do something called loom knitting. Loom knitting is really cool, and it's really super easy. I make baby hats, scarves, hats for myself, and it just all started because I moved to Virginia, and I heard that it's cold during the winter, and I couldn't find scarves that I liked, or that were the color that I liked, or that matched my outfits. So I decided I was going to go to the store and I was going to learn how to do this myself. So, yeah, so I started making stuff. This is one of my scarves, and it's a really pretty blue, and I wear purple a lot, so I have a purple one, and then I have a purple hat. And I do have a blue hat, I just don't know where it's at. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. So I'm just going to add on a how to loom knit video to this. So I really hope y'all enjoy it, and I will see y'all in a little while. Alright, so here's the things that you're going to need for the loom knitting. First, the loom, some yarn, any color. I'm sticking to just a 1-color hat, but you can do more than 1 color. there are other videos to show you how to switch between colors. You need one of these hooks. Let's see. They usually come with the loom. If not, they're in the same section. And then a needle. It doesn't have to be one of these plastic ones. This one just came with my flower loom. So, yeah. Alright, so to start us off, all we're going to do is we got to do a starter loop. So I usually get 2 fingers and I'll wrap twice around, then bring the bottom to the top, and then again. And then I'm going to grab that bottom one, and you can see how it made a knot. And this knot can be moved around and stuff. We don't want a permanent knot, and you'll see why later. So what we do first is we're going to put it, you can see there's a peg right here. It's our starter peg. Okay, we're just going to put it right there, and that's just to keep it out of the way and to keep it from falling apart. So what we do is gently and not tightly wrap around our pegs. Now you will get faster with this process. Like, I know when I began, this took me forever. But now I can actually do it at a pretty good speed. Not while I'm talking, but yeah. So I'm going to wrap around once. And I like to use that starter peg just to hold the rest. Then I'm going to bring this whole row down to the bottom. And I'll show you why. So once that row is down, see, it's down to the bottom. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and wrap a second time around. So we'll have 2 rows of yarn on each peg. Alright, there we go. So you can see here now, I have 2 rows of yarn on each peg. Now I'm going to grab my nifty little hook. Okay, you see how weird shape it is. Now let me zoom in on this. You can see there's like a ridge on each of these pegs, and that actually helps because I can stick this in there a lot easier. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is grab this bottom one and put it over the top one, and as you can see, it's sort of tight, and that is because I tied this bottom one a little too tight, but that's okay. Can loosen it a little bit and put it over that. There we go. Had to stretch the string out a little bit, but that's okay. The rest of them will be easier. See, that one's a lot easier. So top over, or bottom over top. And when I do that, I actually like to use my hook to bring the string down. See, bottom over top, bottom over top. As you can see, that peg's a little loose. Bottom over top, bottom over top. And I believe what this is called purling. I know there's technical terms for all this stuff, but I still don't know them all. But you can look up on some other loom knitting videos, and you'll learn all the terminology. I'm still pretty new at all this. So, I'm going to finish that row, and then the next thing I'm going to do is basically the same thing. I'm just going to grab this and start looping again. And you just keep on doing it over and over and over again. And you'll actually start to see, so you can see that I have like a loop around those. Now, when I do this 12 times before I do a brim. And how I know how many times I've done it is I count this string is 1 and this string on top is 2. So 1, 2. And then when I finish this one, that'll be 3. It'll be 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I'm going to do that until I get to 12, and then I'll show you how I do the brim. All right. Okay, so I have my 12 rows, as you can see. Just trying to get my pattern there. So what we're going to do to make this brim is first we're going to release our starter. And all you're going to do is just release it to the bottom, to that bottom row where it belongs. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to end up tucking this away so you won't see it. What I like to do, I'm going to take that knot out, is I actually like to thread it through my needle, and I like to make like a little knot just so that it doesn't come undone later. And I'm just going to make one little knot through the thread. See, and it's not that visible. Okay, this part can get a little tricky, so I'm gonna try to keep you as in focus and at the right angle as I can, but the camera is sort of at a weird angle. So I'm gonna find, this is my starter peg that I'm using, and you can see that row that comes straight down from that. I'm going to find that bottom, so it's this one right here, and I'm going to place it right on top of that peg. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that leftover string right here, because what we're going to do is we're going to end up bringing this over, all over, and it's going to hide that string. So let's show you that again. Here's our next row right here. I don't know if you can see it. Our next row is right here. I'm going to place it right on top. And then like the rows will start actually revealing themselves to you after a few. See, and you can actually start to see that pattern go through. And just loop them over. Now if you're making a scarf, you wouldn't do this part, but since we're making a baby hat, we're going to do this. And if you're making a scarf, you would end it differently than the baby hat as well, which I will show you. On this one I'm going to make a 2 pom-pom baby hat, so you can actually see the way that I would end a scarf as well, because they would end the same way. See? And now you can actually see all the rows, and you can see I have 2 things on there, 2 rows of string, of yarn, and all I'm going to do is do the same thing where I'm taking the bottom and locking it over the top, and this is closing up my brim. In the bottom of the baby hat. Now I just chose 12 as a number. If you want a thicker brim, you can do more numbers. It's just all up to you what kind of brim you like, but that's usually what I stick with, is about 12. Now as far as length, how many rows should you do for a baby hat? You can either go by rows or you can go by length. I like to go by length, and usually 4 to 5 inches is the standard from the bottom of the brim all the way to the top. So I usually have like a measuring tape handy, and I measure from here until, you know, to here until I'm done to 5, and then I finish off the hat. So that's our brim. As you can tell now, it's like a solid brim. And then I'm just going to continue on with my rows. So I'm just going to, again, wrap around and just keep on going. So yeah, I'm going to go probably 4.5 inches, we'll say. If it's for a baby shower, then I will try to make it 5, just because you never know how big a baby's head is going to be. So I'd rather be on the safe side and go longer than shorter, because the baby can actually, you know, can grow into it, rather than, you know, if you made it too small to begin with. If you made it too small, then they're never going to be able to wear it. But if you make it too big or bigger than what they need it, then, you know, they can actually grow into it. So you see that? And all you're doing is just looping over. Simple, easy. Okay, so I'm going to keep on. This will take me maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and I will have it how big I need it, and I will record your next step. Alrighty. Alright, so as you can see here, I have what I need for my baby hat, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this into a double pom-pom. So I'm going to have pom-poms on each side, so I want it to be flat rather than a single pom-pom. That is a different technique, and what I would do with the single pom-pom is grab this and just wrap it around like that. Then I would cut this, and what I would do is get my needle and run that leftover string through each one of these, and then take it off as I was going through. And then what that does is it allows you, like once everything's off, it allows you to pull that extra string, and this will all cinch up into the top of the hat. And then that's when I would start knotting it on the top, and then whatever string's left over, I would just start sewing it through until there's no more string left, and that way you don't actually see where it ends. So that's cool. And then I will show you how to make a pom-pom, but I'm going to do the double one, just so that if you want to make a scarf, this would be the same ending that you would do for the scarf as well. So what I'm going to do, it's a little tough for the first one, but it'll work out. Gotta remember, I bring one and bring it to the second peg, and then I would loop it over, and you see there's no string left on that. So I'm going to try to do that again. So the one to the left, bring it over to the one to the right, bottom over top, and repeat. I think I'm doing that wrong. Because it's stretching it out. Alrighty, so here is, as you can see, it's almost all the way off. I only have this last one to do. And then all I'm going to do is try not to lose it. Okay. And then, oh no, I forgot scissors. Give me a second. Now all I'm going to do is just cut maybe about 2.5 feet, just to be safe. I'm going to thread it through my needle. I love these needles because they're really, the hole is really big, so it doesn't really take very much effort. And I'm going to go ahead and just make a knot at the end of this. You won't be able to see this knot, which is good, because you're going to have a pom-pom at the end. Okay? So now we're flat. Okay? And that's exactly how I would end a scarf if you want it open-ended. If you want it closed-ended, which that's what I'm going to end up doing, all we're gonna do is just sew back and forth until this is closed. So I'm gonna try to line them up, line the holes up as much as possible, and just keep on doing this until I have a closed end. So I already finished with that. It's flat, it's closed. I like to see what side I really like better. I usually end up flipping it inside out, and you can actually see that's how it looks. I don't really like the brim sometimes on this side though. I like it better this way. I don't know, the brim looks better to me that way. So I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to put 2 pom-poms. So I'm going to knot it, and the way that I knot might not be the correct way, but it's what works for me. So just put it through that circle, see, and it knots. And then I'm going to run the string, the yarn, through that knot again. Okay, and as you can see, I actually have tons of yarn left over. Quite a bit of yarn. That's okay, because I can actually use this for another hat. So, pom-poms. There's several different ways you can do the pom-poms. I just do it this way. I'm going to start 4 fingers, okay, and then just start wrapping. And I like to wrap at least 20 to 40 times. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 40. Okay. And I'm going to cut it right about there. Okay, and I have this extra string. And what I'm going to do with this extra string, I'm going to put it through. See? Put it through there. Sometimes it's best to have an extra pair of hands, but I don't. I'm going to tighten that Then I take it off my fingers, and as I'm taking it off my fingers, I'm going to make it more and more taut and try to keep it centered. If you look on Pinterest, there's people that show how to make pom-poms differently. You can actually use a fork, which would make this a lot easier. But I don't feel like getting up and getting a fork right now. Now I'm gonna flip it, make another knot, just because we just want to make sure it's very tight, because it is going to be a pom-pom and we are going to cut, so we want to make sure the strands don't just start coming out. And when I think it's tight enough, then I'll just make an extra few knots. Make sure you have extra string on both ends, and I'll show you why. Okay, so I have that. What I'm going to do is grab my scissors and get in through where the holes are, and start cutting all these in half. Try to cut as even as possible. It's about to start raining and my dog is about to start crying. Okay. I'm gonna fix this knot. It's not quite in the center. Okay, so I have a pom-pom, and I'll look to see if I don't have, if some of the strands are not cut, like these two right here. Okay, and then sometimes they're a little uneven as well, so you'll just do like a bonsai tree and just try to, it'd be best to do this over a trash can or over a bag. That looks good to me. See? And now we have a nice little pom-pom. Now these strings below, paper stop. I'll get your shirt in the wall, hold on. What we're gonna do is we're going to, it's okay boy, it's okay. My dog is very anxious when it comes to thunderstorms, and I have to put his thunder shirt on him soon. And thread those two through like this, and then we are going to find a corner. I usually like to find the corner with the knot so that you don't see the ugly knot. See? And this is the same technique that you would use with the one pom-pom, and I'm just going to do it twice and then put the other one right there. See? And make sure that it's very taut, very tight in there. I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm just going to thread through and knot. Alright, so that is it. I'll show you. This is the little baby thing that I ended up making. You can do different colors, like more than one color or whatever. That's up to you and your creativity. There's a lot more that you can do with the loom knitting. Some of the ladies that I've seen actually made like the little baby hats, and then they added the little like bear ears to it. This is an adult hat that I made for myself, and yes, I did make it like very cone head shaped, but when I put it on, what I like to do is sort of just mold it a little bit, and I just sort of change the flap a little bit on the back. So I really like this one. Whoa. And then I made, because I wear a lot of purple, if you haven't noticed in my videos. This one I actually made with a larger loom. This one takes me forever, but it is really long and it's really nice and soft. I love it. And it matches my purples, my purple stuff. And then I have another scarf that I made with the small loom. As you can tell, it's a lot skinnier, but I did make this one long as well. So I can actually do a little bit more with this one. So, and I have like tons of other baby hats, like pictures that I made for my friends, because since they're really easy and yarn is pretty cheap, I can make baby hats for my friends. And a lot of times, since I live out of town, excuse me, like I can mail the stuff ahead of time, or I have like waited until after my friend's baby shower. And with one of my friends, I looked at all her pictures from one of her baby showers, and I saw all the outfits, and I made baby hats to go with those outfits. So she didn't have to look for a hat or whatever. She had a hat that matched already. And she had a girl, so I made some little, I have a flower loom, and I made a little flowers to go on it. I bought some patches as well, and I glued the patches to the hats. My friend is really into frogs and turtles, so I put frogs and turtles on one of the hats. So you can be really, really creative with these things, and they're just simple, easy, and cheap, and you know, it's a gift made from love, I guess, for your friends, and it just sort of means a little bit more sometimes when you do that, when you make something for them. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to message me or comment below, subscribe, leave a video response if you have other techniques that you do, or if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask. I am still a novice. I wouldn't call myself a professional by any means. Check out loom knitting from these other ladies that are on YouTube. They're awesome. They're awesome. And they have plenty of ideas. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next week. Alright, bye-bye.